Welcome back to the podcast. Today, we are diving into the real secret behind peak performance, tapping into your intuition, and deep healing, your brain's natural rhythm. Have you ever felt like your brain is constantly racing, jumping from one thing to the next, leaving you exhausted and unfocused by the end of your day? What if there was a simple way to regulate your mind's natural rhythm so that you can feel more clear, calm, and in control without adding more to your to-do list? By the end of this episode, you will know exactly how to do just that. In this episode, we are diving into the fascinating world of brain states, those natural rhythms of the mind that influence everything from your creativity, your focus, your relaxation, and your intuition, which is going to get you back into clarity of how to solve the everyday challenges in your life. If you are at all familiar with cycle syncing and its ability to help us as women align with the rhythm of our fluctuating hormones, you are going to love this, and everything taught here actually applies to you men out there as well. Well, cycle syncing helps us women understand what hormones are at play throughout our month, giving us a better understanding of how we feel. For instance, pre-period, we will naturally be inclined to go more internal, while during ovulation, we feel more outgoing and social. Knowing this information helps us do our best to align the flow of our life with these hormones. For instance, we can decide to schedule any behind the scenes and quieter work and activities for the days leading up to our cycle and aim to schedule more energy requiring work tasks and social events around ovulation. Brain syncing is similar to cycle syncing in that it teaches us how to align and work with our body's natural rhythm. But it differs in that cycle syncing is based on a weekly and monthly shifts, while brain syncing happens throughout each and every day, giving you the opportunity to completely change how every day feels. Understanding this pattern is so empowering because now you'll have the ability to change every single day of your life, which is going to add up to massive ease and flow instead of chaos and force. Okay, so you know how you wake up like kind of sleepy and dreamy, and then at some point during the day you approach what I like to call go mode or get stuff done mode. And then perhaps there's moments in the day where you just don't have it in you. Maybe you're feeling fried and you don't feel like you can meet the day with the energy required. This information changes all of that. I want you to think about your brain's cycles like different rhythms of your day, kind of like for us ladies changing outfits for different occasions. So in the morning, you put on maybe your cozy robe. It's soft and dreamy. It's perfect for reflection and easing into the day. Then maybe a little bit of a more put together, but still cozy outfit for school drop off. But later morning and into midday, you put on your power outfit. This is focused, sharp, and ready to get things done. When it's time to wind down later, you take off your bra, wipe off your makeup, and you put on your softest PJs, and you start to feel more restorative and essential for deep sleeping and rest. Just like you wouldn't wear a blazer to bed or pajamas to a big meeting, your brain needs the right rhythm at the right time and learning how to shift between them with ease. That is alignment. All right, so now I'm going to walk you through how we wake up in Theta. Theta is the dream state, and this is how we access connection to something greater than ourselves. This is where you get instant access to insight, clarity, and those quiet whispers of intuition that guide you towards your deepest desires. This is where creativity flows effortlessly, stress has the ability to melt away, and you feel a deep sense of peace and connection with yourself and the world around you. I'm going to show you how to stay in Theta just a little bit longer and why that matters. Then we're going to move into Alpha. This is a state that people spend years meditating to learn how to master, and you can maximize this for calm, focus, and flow no matter what is going on in your life. Imagine being as calm as a Buddhist monk in the craziest of scenarios, whether it's with your family, your children, at work, or otherwise. I'm going to tell you a brief story about how Thomas Edison understood the power of these brainwave states, and he literally used these to invent the light bulb. I'm hoping that in doing that, every time you see a light bulb going forward, you're going to get that light bulb idea, remembering how powerful and important this information is. Although you may not be inventing the next big thing like Edison, tapping into the same brainwave states can help you find clarity in your busy life. It's going to help you solve problems with ease and unlock creativity and intuition that guide you back to what truly matters. By the end of this episode, my goal is for you to be empowered by how much you can shift your mindset, your day, your week, your month, and your year with just a few intentional moments a day while using these tools for brainwave mastery. I'm also going to give you a super easy system for remembering this so that you can easily access it even amidst your busiest of days. Mastering the ability to shift into alpha and theta brainwave states can absolutely transform your life by helping you break free from stress and mental clutter, allowing you to access calm, focused creativity and deep intuition with ease. These states create the perfect foundation for feeling more present, connected, and aligned in your day without the overwhelm. Imagine this. You're juggling work deadlines, managing a household, and constantly feeling pulled in a million directions, yet you have the ability to tap into a sense of calm and clarity anytime you need it. Whether it's finding the patience to handle a chaotic morning with your kids or having the focus to power through an important project at work, mastering these states allows you to show up feeling centered, confident, and in control without constant overwhelm, all in just minutes. And here's the powerful part. Unlike tools like therapy, supplements, or even a gym session, these tools are already inside of you. You are literally reigniting your power from within, one of my favorite aspects. And because this comes from within you, you can literally access it at any time and anywhere. It doesn't cost a thing. And how incredible you're going to feel to know that you brought yourself back to the center, not by relying on something external, but by igniting and reconnecting to your own power. This is self-regulation at its finest, free, accessible, and life-changing. And in this episode, you're going to learn all you need. I'm also going to share a free, incredible resource for you at the end, so make sure you hang out so that you don't miss this golden nugget. Okay, are you ready to dive in? So let's start with a quick overview of brainwaves. Your brain operates on different frequencies throughout the day, depending on your activity and mental state. Frequencies are kind of like different vibes and styles of music. These brainwave states influence everything from your focus to your creativity, your stress levels, and even how connected you feel to yourself and others. In this episode, we're going to focus on 4 main brainwaves or radio stations: theta, alpha, beta, and delta. Theta, which I love to nickname the dreamer. If you have ever said or heard someone say, "I get my best ideas in the shower," you have theta to thank for that. Theta is our connection to something greater than ourselves, whether it's God, source, quantum, universe, intuition, etc. This is where we have direct access to our intuition, clarity, and insight. Theta occurs in the beautiful space between dream world and when we're just starting to wake. This is the gateway between our subconscious and our conscious mind. Your subconscious and conscious mind are kind of like an iceberg. The conscious mind is the small part above the water, what you're aware of, your thoughts, your decisions, and your logical reason. But the subconscious mind is the massive structure below the surface, holding all of your beliefs, habits, emotions, past experiences, and it's quietly steering the direction of your life without you being aware of it. True transformation happens when you stop just chipping away at the top and start working with what's underneath. When you learn to embrace and allow yourself to spend a few minutes in this dreamy, intuitive space, you're going to find yourself moving through life with more ease, making decisions with more confidence, feeling deeply connected to your inner wisdom, and experiencing those aha moments that bring everything into alignment. So imagine starting to wake up feeling inspired, grounded, and ready to take on your day with a clear sense of purpose rather than rushing straight up into stress and distractions like most of us typically run our lives. The next brainwave phase or radio station is alpha. Alpha is the connector and heart opener. This state is an amazing place for connection with yourself and your loved ones. This is also where we achieve something that's called flow state. Flow state, if you haven't heard it, is a mental state of complete immersion and focus in an activity. This is where time seems to disappear. Our actions feel effortless and our creativity and performance peak. Flow state is the feeling when you're fully immersed in something that you love, whether it's a physical activity that gets you out of your busy head and into your body, losing yourself. I'd actually reword that to finding yourself in a great book, or effortlessly balancing work and family life with a sense of calm, focus, and ease, pivoting between each one seamlessly. These moments just usually tend to happen to occur, and we have no way of knowing how to intentionally create them. By the end of this episode, you will. And again, I'm also going to share an incredible free resource that will help you really nail this concept down. By learning how to intentionally tap into alpha, you can create more of these flow-filled moments where everything just clicks. where you're having meaningful conversations with your kids without distractions, or tackling your to-do list with ease, or perhaps it leads to feeling fully present and engaging in your favorite hobbies and with your loved ones. Imagine feeling calm, clear, and in control while effortlessly moving through your day and to-dos with a deep sense of connection to yourself and those around you. As mentioned, people spend years of meditation trying to get to this state of alpha. But by the end of this episode, you're going to know exactly how to get into alpha, the connector and flow state, in an instant. This changes the game from feeling chaotic and overwhelmed, perhaps if you're going from email to email, Zoom meeting to Zoom meeting, or if you're home and juggling the kids in a complete state of overwhelm and then boom, someone has a meltdown. This gets you into calm and clarity in an instant by getting you out of that busy head and into your heart and body, no matter what's going on around you. We're also going to briefly touch on another very important brainwave state. This is Delta. Delta is the healer, and her superpower is to help you heal, regenerate, and recharge. This is also the only time when your lymphatic system is working. This is the lymph system of your brain, which actively clears out any toxins that can interfere with peak brain performance and clarity. Think of your lymphatic system like a dishwasher for your brain, washing away all the mental and toxic clutter from the day before. So ensuring you have an evening wind down routine so that you can access this Delta is crucial, and knowing this is what's going to help you be sure to carve out this time for yourself. It's not selfish. Your health and tomorrow's day depends on it. And lastly, but very important, we're going to talk about a fourth brainwave state called Beta. This is the go-getter. Beta is our prime workforce brainwave, and it serves a great purpose, but we're spending way too much time in it, and it's wreaking havoc on our nervous system. I want you to start to use this slogan. If it's dark outside, Beta needs to hide. It's going to make more sense as we continue to listen to this episode, but basically, if it's dark outside, whether in the morning or in the evening, and we all know as those days get shorter during those winter months, we need to avoid being in the go-getter mode at all costs, and I'll tell you exactly how to ensure that you do that. Hint, if you and or your family are looking at screens in the wee hours of the morning or when you get home at night, or you're using traditional white or blue lighting in your home, you need these resources, and they're all linked in the description. When we overwork Beta by keeping her going all through the day and into the wee hours of the morning or night, we burn her out. And this is a big contributor to why we feel burnout, stuck in fight or flight, unmotivated when it's time to get stuff done, and like we just have nothing left to give. Every day we have the opportunity to work with our rhythm or with our brains or against it. Working with will feel like ease, joy, connection, freedom, getting it all done, but not feeling frazzled, things coming through you through flow rather than force. Going against it will feel like force instead of flow. Your nervous system may feel overtaxed. You may feel a chronic state of stress or like burnout. You'll either be moving too fast, rushed, and super annoyed at anyone interfering with your pace, especially in family life, or you might feel unmotivated and stuck. Okay, so now you have a ton of background info on why this is important. And now I want to give you a super easy system for remembering your daily flow. And then we're going to get into the details of each brainwave to help drive home the concept. I'm going to give you action steps and focus for each wave throughout your day. Once you understand how your brain naturally flows throughout the day, everything starts to feel easier and more aligned. Okay, so the system I want you to have is something I call the 5 Ps of brainwave alignment. Once you understand how your brain naturally flows throughout the day, everything starts to feel easier and more aligned. This all starts with the first P, a pause in the morning. This is your Theta time. This is where you can tap into your subconscious through simple activities like visualization and meditation. Then we move into our second P called prepare. This is during mid-morning, which is your alpha state, perfect for journaling, setting intentions, clearing your mental clutter so you can create space for the day ahead. Next is produce. This is from later morning to early afternoon when we're in beta wave, where you're naturally wired for focus, problem solving, and productivity. This is your time to really dive into deep work. This is also the time we used to plan. Midday beta is perfect time to tackle logistics, emails, to-do lists without feeling overwhelmed. And finally, we end the day with the last P, peace. This is where Theta, Alpha, and Delta take over the evening, helping you relax, recover, and prepare for a restful night's sleep. When you work with your brain instead of against it, you're going to find more flow, focus, and balance in your daily life. I have a super easy, simple cheat sheet on this for you as well, and it's all linked in the descriptions below. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about the power of each brainwave so you truly understand what you're about to achieve here. I'm also going to be giving you easy tools to help ensure that you stay in the right brainwave for each moment of the day. And I'm going to share tools with you so that you know when you've fallen into the wrong one, like beta too early in the morning or too late at night because life happens, and how you can quickly and easily get back into the optimal state, leading to better night's sleep, feeling more calm, balanced, and harmonious no matter what your life throws at you. Our brainwaves are like individual people, each with their own unique personality, and I'm going to walk you through them, personifying each as if they're one of your girlfriends. Ideally, this helps create a visual, making it easier to remember the intention of each time of day and brainwave. No worries if you can't remember it all. I have a free resource for you linked in the description. You could literally print it out, stick it somewhere that you see until you have this all locked in. So Theta, our first brainwave of the day. Theta is the dreamy artist. She's a whimsical, free-spirited woman who loves daydreaming, exploring ideas, and diving deep into her imagination. She is the friend who helps you tap into your intuition, uncover hidden insights, and heal emotional wounds through creativity and reflection. You know that friend who's always lost in thought, the one who seems to have a deep knowing about life and is constantly dreaming up new ideas. That's Theta. She's the friend who encourages and reminds you to slow down, tune in, and trust your gut. Theta always has her head in the clouds, but somehow she manages to uncover the most profound insights and creative ideas when you least expect it. Hanging out with her feels like a mix of daydreaming and deep conversation that leave you feeling inspired, connected, and more in touch with yourself. Now, don't worry, by tapping into Theta, you're not going to completely let yourself go here. You're still going to get everything done. You're just going to create these small moments of opportunities to dip into this low-key space throughout your day. Our friend Theta peaks when we first wake up. She is the space between dream world and the real world. And by lingering in this space, we get access to intuition, wisdom, and creativity. It's here that we can transmit our creative solutions to our problems in life. That time just after we first wake up is the perfect time for introspection and sitting with ourselves. We can also access Theta later throughout our day when we create space to daydream. Again, if you've ever had a great idea come to you in the shower, you have Theta to thank for that. So imagine the amount of insights, clarity, and ideas you'll get when you know how to intentionally tap into Theta anytime you desire, not just randomly in the shower. Now, in helping you understand how to access Theta, the biggest goal and action step I have for you is less about what you do and more about what not to do. So when we first wake up, we are naturally in Theta, but we pull ourselves out of this beautiful, clairvoyant space by exposing our eyes to blue or white light in our home or on our devices. And don't worry, I have a solution. Ideally, in this window of time, we use only red or amber light in our homes. I'll link some of my favorites below, as well as a quick video on how to shortcut a red light filter on your phones, although ideally you are completely off your digital devices in this space first thing in the morning. This is the space that Thomas Edison used. So as you know, he was one of the most influential innovators in our history, best known for developing the light bulb, the phonograph, and motion picture camera. His work revolutionized modern life and laid the foundation for so many technological advances. And I know you're probably not looking to invent the next light bulb, but having this knowledge and the tools to access this space and clarity is going to be a game changer in your ability to prevent decision fatigue, enhance problem solving, and so much more. I want to tell you a little bit more about Thomas Edison and how he used this. Edison understood the power of the treasure trove between sleep and wakefulness. So he used meditation and relaxation techniques to get himself into Theta. This is so cool. He would literally hold ball bearings in his hand, and below his hands were metal bowls. When he fell into true sleep, he would drop the balls and he'd be woken by the noise of the balls falling into the bowl. He would repeat this process again and again, and in this, he used the Theta-dominant brain phase to tap into his subconscious mind, where creativity, intuition, and problem-solving abilities thrive. He believed and experienced that in this deeply relaxed, dreamlike state, just between wakefulness and sleep, his mind could access innovative ideas and solutions that weren't as easily reachable in his normal waking state. So Edison trained himself to get into this beautiful sleepy state where he opened the window between his conscious and subconscious mind. He knew that this is where his best insights would come to him, and that's what you have access to during this Theta time as well. A great mantra for Theta is when your mind is moving slow, Theta runs the show. These things will help us not feel like this time is unproductive or that we're being lazy. There is so much magic in taking a few moments in this space. All right, now let's talk about our next rhythm. As your brain starts to slowly wake up after a few minutes spent in Theta, you're going to naturally progress into the next brainwave, Alpha, the connector and heart opener. This is my favorite. Alpha brainwaves are our golden ticket. These are what you experience in a calm, meditative state. It's where creativity flows, your nervous system relaxes, and your best ideas can come effortlessly, similar to Theta. And in both Theta and Alpha, these thoughts and insights will come through you, but the difference is how they come. So insights in Theta, when we first wake up, come from your subconscious. These will often feel like downloads or intuitive insights that kind of appear out of nowhere. In this dreamy state, your brain connects patterns and ideas below your conscious awareness. Remember, below in the iceberg under the water. The clarity that comes effortlessly during Alpha is a bit different. So Alpha feels like relaxed wakefulness and a state of flow. Ideas and insights emerge here from a place of calm focus. Instead of coming from your subconscious, these thoughts feel more intentional and grounded. You're awake and aware enough to connect with them consciously while staying grounded enough to let them flow. This feels like effortless problem solving. Whereas you're getting your best ideas perhaps in the shower or examples of Theta, things like being out in nature without any digital distractions or putting your phone down and getting a great idea is an example of Alpha insight. Or when you're journaling and perhaps you get an aha moment when you start to connect some of the dots and you make more sense of a situation that has had you perplexed or frustrated or stuck. In order to ensure its transition into Alpha occurs, you simply need to not do one thing. That one thing is do not get on your phone or your computer. This will literally hijack you out of Alpha and fast track you right into Beta. Remember, Beta thrives on logistics such as tasks and to-dos for the day, the details of getting it all done. And so as soon as you tap into that space, she quickly rises to the occasion and takes over, skipping the magical clarity of Alpha. Although it's very natural for all the to-dos of the day to creep into our minds in the morning, we can over time train our brains to push that back even just a few moments in order to create more calm, peak performance, emotional regulation, and enhanced regulation throughout the day. A great way to ensure smooth transition from the dreamy Theta into connected heart space and Alpha is journaling. This gives us a place and a channel for all the thoughts and insights that came through in Theta. So taking just a few moments to journal on what you learned and possibly what you're grateful for will get you into an even deeper state of Alpha. Also, nature. Nature is an incredible way to get into Alpha. This is a great thing to access throughout your busy day when you're living in Beta and need to take a break. Getting sunlight on your skin, going for a morning walk or jog, or just stepping outside and grounding, tuning into your surroundings, getting out of your head and into your body is a great way to get into Alpha. Okay, so let's dive a little bit deeper into Alpha. I want to give you a mantra to help you lock in this magical space. The mantra for this one is open your heart and the flow will start. Getting into our hearts and bodies and out of our busy brain, fully being present in the moment and staying out of our minds is how we access Alpha. If we were to describe Alpha as a friend, she is the calm, grounded yoga instructor who encourages you to breathe, relax, and stay present in the moment. She's all about finding balance, whether it's through journaling, meditation, breath work, or simply pausing to appreciate life. She's an expert at fully being present in the moment. Her life is run by flow rather than force. She stays in her body and everything else comes to and through her. She is ease. She is the friend who somehow has the ability to be completely present with whomever and whatever is in front of her, no matter what is going on in her life. She is chill, creative, and in tune with herself and others. She loves morning rituals and afternoon resets. She teaches us that slowing down is not unproductive. It's literally key to staying connected and calm, leading to peak performance. Okay, now that you have met Theta and her friend Alpha, I want to introduce you to Beta. She is probably the brainwave you are currently spending the most time with. Beta brainwaves are the engine that drives your busy day. This is what you experience when you're alert, focused, and getting everything done. This is where productivity thrives. Decisions are made and you power through your to-do list. Beta is your go mode for action and achievement. The problem is that most of us are stuck in Beta. which is your stress and survival mode. This is great for problem solving, but when you're stuck here all day, it can lead to burnout, brain fog, and that always has to be on feeling. Beta is what will help you tackle deadlines, solve problems, and stay sharp during a busy day. When you're in beta, your brain is alert and active, making it essential for task lists that require logic, planning, and execution. Beta is our main rhythm during the day. Picture her as your 9-to-5 work buddy, but how many of us are still working before and after our work hours? Whether you have a career or not, the workload of being a busy woman and mama never ceases to end. The emails, the meal planning, the organizing, all the details for your kids, the text messages, etc. Remember, when it's dark outside, beta needs to hide. So beta thrives in daytime, and she needs to rest, recover, and recharge when the sun is down, whether that's in the morning or at night. Our brains and nervous systems are designed to wind down and take breaks, catching their breath. It does this by going into alpha and theta. So if beta is like a marathon runner, theta and alpha are her water breaks, these small moments of replenishment to ensure that she can keep going. These breaks don't have to be long, but they yield massive results. These breaks can literally be stepping into nature for a few moments. They can be eating your lunch without looking at your screens. For me, it's riding my bike for a few moments between emails and Zoom calls. The power of these breaks is in their ability to get you back into your body and heart in mere moments, replenishing and recharging you for the rest of your day. This changes the game because it stops us from pushing through our day when we can finally get a rest. But the truth is that mind frame isn't working. We hear these inner whispers of ourselves saying, it's too much, I need a break, and we shove it down and promise it'll get a break at the end of the day or at the end of the week. And I don't know about you, but so often there's just somehow more to do at the end of the day and on the weekend that break never comes. This is what's contributing to our burnout, our exhaustion, and our inability to actually enjoy ourselves when we finally get a break. This is what leads to doom scrolling because we don't have energy for anything else when we finally have a chunk of time on the weekend. These short alpha and theta water breaks is how we change all of that. This is how we literally change the game and reframe self-care to connection, something we can actually access in the midst of our busy lives and something that actually works. When beta is running a marathon, aka helping you juggle all of your tasks for the day, she is steady, determined, and built for making progress. But even the best marathon runners need to pace themselves and take water breaks to avoid exhaustion. Alpha and theta are your water stations along the route. Alpha is that quick sip of water, a brief moment to catch your breath, reset, and keep moving with a clear mind and steady energy. Theta is the deeper recharge. It's like sitting down for a moment to stretch and refocus. Daydreaming. This is where creativity and insights flow, helping you find new strategies to navigate the race ahead. If you push through the marathon without ever stopping or taking a break, your body and mind are going to hit a wall. I don't know if you've ever hit that, leaving you feeling depleted and just when you need to give your best. By pausing to dip into alpha and theta, you can keep running and pushing with strength and purpose, crossing the finish line feeling proud and in alignment. Living in beta for too long without this rest can push your nervous system into overdrive. Overusing your beta brainwaves can leave you running on fumes when you actually need to perform. For a career person, this might look like grinding through back-to-back meetings and late-night emails only to find yourself unable to think clearly during an important presentation. Your brain is overworked, beta state has maxed out, and instead of being sharp and prepared, you feel scattered and foggy. For a mom raising her family, living in constant beta might look like juggling schedules, school pickups, dinner prep, homework help without pause, or taking care of your baby and not actually resting when the baby rests. By bedtime, when your child wants to actually share something meaningful or needs extra patience, your tank is empty. Instead of being able to be present, you feel irritable or detached, not because you don't care, but because your brain is stuck in survival mode. Here are some of the ways we take ourselves out of alpha and theta and go into beta by accident. We want to avoid these things during our morning and evening time and take intentional moments throughout the day to take breaks from these. 1, having our alerts constantly on, whether it's notifications, the to-do list, the messages, the emails, they keep our brain in overdrive. This also obviously prevents us from getting into flow and losing ourselves. I would rather say finding ourselves in the moment. So turn off your notifications. Put your devices on Do Not Disturb from 7 p.m. until 7 a.m. And again, for a few intentional moments throughout your day so that you can get completely into the present moment. Another thing that pulls us out of alpha and theta into beta is exposure to screens and white lights early in the morning or late in the evening. This will pull you into beta. So this is where in our home, we use the red light bulbs. These are super beneficial, super easy to implement, and it's all linked in the description. When we spend too long in beta, which is most of our typical lives, she gets burnt out. She needs water breaks, and when we don't let our beta brain rest by taking these breaks, it contributes to brain fog, overwhelm, scattered chaos in our brains. So give yourself that permission that you keep asking for to take that break that you so desperately need. Remember, the power of these breaks is in the moments. Since you're now equipped with exactly how to do them, perhaps in the past you spent your break scrolling your phone or socials, and now you know why that never actually worked. You never actually felt refreshed because the reality is anything on your phone pulls you into beta. It's not a break. When beta is overactive, we constantly live in sympathetic overdrive, essentially a state of chronic stress, fight or flight. Our cortisol runs high, and when we're in this state for too long, all the magic and the healing systems in our bodies cannot occur. This includes digestion, our immune system, our metabolism, our ability to detox, and how this can show up is poor digestion, constipation, getting sick a lot, feeling subpar, chronic fatigue, autoimmune, gaining weight, or inability to lose it, especially in the midsection, inability to detox, and so much more. These can all come from living in beta for too long, and now you know how to dip in and out. One of the main things I want you to take away from this episode is an understanding that it's the short, regular breaks that are often even more powerful than pushing through until we can just finally get to the weekend and put our feet up. This is where we can actually access the rest that we need, deserve, and crave during our busy lives without forcing through. These mini breaks change the game, and now that you have a better understanding of the why they're important, I hope it becomes easier for you to access them. I want to tell you a quick story. I was sharing this info with my friend recently, and she was practicing utilizing and understanding the power of these brainwaves. She was putting these into practice, getting herself into an evening wind down, which we're going to talk about in a minute, by starting to read a book and put her feet up a little bit at the end of the day so that she could get some good rest. She was starting to understand the power of Delta, a brainwave we're going to talk about next, and how setting herself up with a few minutes of intentional wind down routine before bed would set the tone for getting a great night's sleep, which leads to healing, regeneration, nervous system regulation. One of her kids came in asking her to take a quick look at something that she knew required her beta brain. Now, it's these moments, especially as mamas, where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. This is where our self-care and our connection can truly be put to the test. We know that we need this time, and then someone needs us, and in that moment, we can judge ourselves for being selfish. We can judge ourselves for putting our needs above theirs. And that's why knowing this information is so incredibly powerful, because it helps anchor you in why this is important. My friend was able to leverage what she was doing with the knowledge behind the information for the brainwaves. Understanding why we're doing something helps increase the likelihood of actually sticking with it when someone challenges us, whether they're realizing it or not. So rather than being swayed out of taking these precious few moments to herself and getting pulled back into her beta brain, she said she would take a look at what he needed from her tomorrow. This allowed her to stay in a more relaxed state as she got ready to go to sleep. So imagine if she took option B. Imagine if in that moment, like so many of us does, she felt selfish. And so she stopped her connection with herself and got pulled into beta. Instead of staying true to what she needed and taking a bit of downtime, she got pulled back into beta brain. Sure, on the outside, it might look like she was just helping her kiddo, which is obviously what we all want as parents, but then her brain would be going and going. She'd probably then get pulled into another project, maybe checking her emails, maybe making lists, and then maybe would have a hard time winding down, perhaps putting her head down and going over all the things she did wrong during the day and tossing and turning at night. Have you ever had a night like that? I know I have. And now, do you fully realize that you have the power and information to change that? You can now set yourself up for a great night's sleep by simply taking a few intentional moments for yourself at night. Okay, so now let's talk about how you create an evening routine that actually leads to a good night's sleep and why this is important. Enter Delta brainwaves. Delta is our inner healer and regenerator. Delta brainwaves are experienced in the deepest stages of sleep in complete stillness. This is where true healing happens. Your body repairs, your emotions are processed, and your nervous system finally resets its foundation. Think of Delta as your restorative sanctuary. sanctuary. During Delta, our deep sleep, the body undergoes crucial healing and restorative processes, including physical repair and cellular regeneration, immune system boost, brain detoxification, the lymphatic system, remember the dishwasher of our brain, cleans out toxins and metabolic waste, preventing cognitive decline. That's important. Emotional processing. Delta sleep supports emotional resilience, consolidating memories and regulating our mood through neurotransmitter balancing. We also experience a deep nervous system reset. The parasympathetic nervous system, our rest and digest mode, dominate, lowering stress hormones like cortisol, restoring balance. Speaking of balance, we have a hormonal balance, helping regulate and support our overall well-being. DNA repair and anti-aging, who doesn't want that? Prioritizing deep sleep and delta waves is essential for overall healing, mental clarity, and long-term health. So, how do we ensure this? How do we prioritize delta? Super simple. I always want to make these super applicable for you guys. So, we're going to take time for an evening wind down, allowing us to transition out of beta and into alpha and theta so that we can access delta. All right, so what does this look like? 1, limit or eliminate blue light and stick to red and amber light sources. You guys have heard me talk about this a ton of times, and all my favorites and resources are linked in the description. Number 2, remember, you're going to be much more efficient at emails and those last minute tasks tomorrow, giving yourself permission to push things that can wait until tomorrow when you're back in beta. 1 is going to give you that essential wind down and rest, and 2, you're going to do better at it when you're in that brain phase. Your brain is not in prime mode for problem solving at this time of day, so work in alignment with your brain and nervous system by winding down rather than fighting it, trying to get those last minute tasks for the day. And 3, engage in whatever feels as good as possible, whatever makes your heart happy. This might be cozying up with your loved ones, lighting a candle, taking a bath, reading a good book. Think nurture for this time of day, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Okay, so now as we start to wrap this episode, I want to answer a question I get all the time. People ask, what is my main action step in each phase? Morning in Theta, your action step is to listen. Listen for clarity, insights, intuition, your voice, quantum, God, source. In Alpha, your action step is to connect with you, your message, connect with others. This is where we have a family snuggle session before we get into the day. This is a great time if you have fur babies to cuddle them. Beta, your action step, get it done. Whatever needs to get done, this is where and when you do it. Just remember to take those short alpha and theta breaks out of it. And delta, your action step is to wind down. I'm going to include all of this in the links below, a super easy cheat sheet for you so that you can access and remember this, or print it out and stick it somewhere where you'll see it. All right, I would love to hear any questions that you have. Feel free to comment below if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to this on the podcast, feel free to email me or message me. My info is in the show notes. I would love to hear what brainwave do you want to bring more of into your life, and what action step will you take, or what will you ditch in order to make that happen? Maybe you're going to stop going on emails or screens first thing in the morning. I would love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for being here. As always, I love sharing these tools with you. Thanks for passing this along to anyone in your life that you know can benefit from this great information. See you soon.